Hi, this is Richard Patrick from Filter, and you are at BackstageAxxess.com.
Hi, this is Chris with BackstageAxxess.com, and we are really excited to have with us here today Filter frontman Richard Patrick. Welcome, Rich. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today, Rich. We do appreciate it.
No problem, and I appreciate the attention. It means a lot to me.
Sure, so let's talk about the new Filter record, Crazy Eyes. I had the chance to listen to it, and it's just intense. From the first track, Mother E on, what kind of overall sound were you going for this time around?
I was thinking about, it's like the last two records, it was like a rock band.
Right.
We were really, doing stuff that, it was fun, but there was something that was like getting away from me. And so there was 3 or 4 songs on the last record that I really loved, but I thought there was way too much guitar, and you couldn't hear the programming. You couldn't hear more of the electronics.
Okay.
And so when I was thinking about this record, I was like, I really just don't want to have, to track 8 guitars to play one part so that it sounds thick and mean. I want to use songwriting and electronics and my voice to sound angry. I don't want it to necessarily be all about the rock. I wanted it to be more industrial. So, nowadays there's 1,000 plugins, and there's all kinds of gear, and you can pretty much do any sound you want. I mean, it's really fascinating. And it was just a matter of working with programmers and different people that I've grown up with, basically. I mean, I worked with Michael Tuller since I was 25 or something.
Okay.
Ben Gross. And then I worked with this kid, Umi Capella. And it's just, you sit there and you sculpt out a song, and you kind of start with all different types of sounds that are available. And you just end up where you are. You yes and no it. It's a very simple decision on all of this stuff. You just go, yes, no, yes, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. And that to me is production, because you're as long as you're the one personally saying this is where we're going, this is how it is.
Okay, so producing the album as well, that makes the whole process just easier for you?
Yeah, well, there's already a ton of power that you have as an artist, but when you work with a producer and you're kind of in the hands of someone that's, quote unquote, got tons of experience, and you feel like, you could have sat there and stamped your feet and said, this has to happen this way because I don't give a shit. I'm the boss.
Right.
But that only worked when I was wasted back in 1996, and I'd throw beer bottles across the room, and and a record company would fork out another $20,000 because I just destroyed something, and it was a different time, and now you have to be very kind of adult about it.
Okay.
So I asked the record company, and I just said, listen, put me in charge of everything, and it'll sound like old Filter, and that's really what I want to do. And the old Filter sound is just the bizarre ideas I have of after Mother E, we get through that first chorus, and you think it's just going to be more screaming, and it breaks down to my voice and a cello.
Right.
And that's unexpected, and that's what Filter fans are missing, is this broad stroke, crazy idea and weird, strange idea, as opposed to, oh, he's going back into a verse. Okay, here we go. And this time he's changing the lyrics. And I didn't want to do that. I kept everything. It was like a constantly changing idea always. And that's when it made sense to me.
Right, and each song kind of just evolves into different parts and forms as it goes through.
Yeah, the first, then there's another song, Pride Flag, which is a song that's got this super, you're all in the verse. I'm screaming away. I'm at the top of my range. You can hear my voice straining, and then it's like, okay, now go to a chorus, and you're like, wait a minute, we gotta tear it all down and just have it very simple, so that it makes going into the verse impactful.
Right.
And and it was all like, let's just take out all the guitars and do this, and okay, here we go. You know what I mean? Like you can't spend a lot of time discussing it. You're just like, ooh, dude, trust me. And when you have the full control, and believe me, there's still a fight. There's always a fight because they don't get it. They're like, people, they don't, whether it's, they're kind of like, wait a minute, what? You're gonna what? Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of sing this really lightly here, and then we're gonna fire out of this chorus, and it'd be so awesome if I just ran every aspect of it, but you actually do need a team. And to be honest, the team, especially Umi Capello, he was someone that was, he would catch up to an idea, he would agree to an idea, and then he would contribute musically extremely fast. Like the guy can play anything on the guitar. He can play keyboards. He's an amazing programmer. And so we would just sit there and pound out these songs. And the other thing was, if we ever got stuck on an idea, it was like, okay, forget it, save that. Maybe we can use that for something else in a week. But right now, let's start something brand new. Because if it wasn't really easy, that's usually when it's like, oh shit, here we go. It's a problem.
Right.
And then the song sounds like it was poured over. It really worked on too hard, and
Now, you mentioned Umi. Who else was on board for Crazy Eyes, and is this going to be kind of more of a permanent lineup for Filter, or are you just going to kind of
I don't know.
goes?
The only thing that determines whether or not something can be permanent is how well it's received.
Right.
And, it's bizarre because socialism lives in the music world. Socialism is here, and unfortunately, it's not very social. There's no, we have been equalized by the fact that kids can just download,
right.
Songs instantly, and they can, you think the kids are like, hey, I'm listening to it on Spotify, right? You get paid, right? No.
Exactly.
The only people making money on Spotify.
Right.
So, unfortunately, everyone's got to work really hard to make sure that they can make a living.
Sure.
And sometimes, if Ashley gets called by CeeLo, and CeeLo says, okay, we're going back out on tour, and you're gonna do this, she's gonna have to take it. That's just the way it is.
Right.
If you're a bass player, you got to play bass all the time if you're gonna pay your bills. So it's just a different world. It's not like back in the day. The record company would give me a huge amount of money to go off and make a record, and I did the same kind of thing. I went off and made short bus with gear, and the gear was actually really expensive back then. It still is, but it's a different kind of expensive. And so all of those things have play. Now, would I want to keep everybody that's here? Sure, absolutely. But the reality is there's always, Matt Walker in 1995 went on tour with, we opened up for the Smashing Pumpkins in Europe for 2.5 months, and then we came back, and the drummer Jimmy Chamberlain had some health issues, and they were like, we're gonna take Matt. Is that cool? I'm like, well, no one asked me, but if he's already in your band, if he's already on your bus, there's nothing I can do about it. So I had to go from Matt to Steve, and that's the thing. And who was there before Matt? It was a Macintosh. The first record was entirely a keyboard. I mean, we were like, oh, let's get some drum samples and just iron out some parts because we're Filter and we have no rules. There's absolutely no rules in Filter. We're not like super right-wing conservative metal guys. Okay, all right. How many people have wristbands? Good, check. Do we have a pentagram? Do we have a pentagram somewhere? Check. Now the new thing is, are our face paint? Do you have face paints? Are we painted up? Okay, good. Do we have a mask? Okay, we got someone with a mask. Good. Okay, do we have long hair? Good. It's instead of marching into a genre and kind of conserving that, like we're totally on our own.
Right.
We're not a lifestyle band. We're just kind of who we are.
Right. Now you mentioned. It's been 20 years since, Short Bus, and you mentioned the sampling and the plugins and all that's available now. Has that changed your approach when making a record, all the differences in technology and in that, amount of time?
No, actually, I really feel like we were on a roll when we did Crazy Eyes.
Okay.
It was like, one of the last songs we did was Mother E, and it was like, fucking A, man, this is heavy as shit. And then it was like, fuck, we gotta go off and do different things. I had to have a huge, massive back surgery and stuff like that. So we handed in the record, and we were proud of it. But, you go off and you have to go do other things, because, that's the way it is.
Sure. Now,
but I feel like it would even be faster if we like just started a new record tomorrow.
Right. Now, this time around, you were involved with a Pledge Music campaign to help fund the record. How did that work out for you? Is that something you would consider doing again in the future?
Absolutely. I think it would be. I think it's like a staple for me now.
Okay.
The fans are. I could have updated even more and, been happy, even more happy about it. There was a weekly review that would come, and it would just show up in my email, and it would tell me all the responses to everything that was going on. Like, okay, here's when I played a little snippet of Take Me to Heaven there, and then here's here's what happened when I played a snippet of Mother E. Here's who's buying it. This is what they want. They want vinyl and CDs. Here's a so the research aspect of it was amazing.
Right.
Because the stuff that I was kind of questioning, like, I wonder if the fans are going to get that I'm just going to be screaming this one line the whole time, and like, I wonder if they're okay with that, and they would respond, this is wild, and they so it was almost like reassuring to see that the stuff that I liked, they were liking. And then they would say, okay, and to prove that, I'm going to spend, $100 on, 2 signed CDs or a signed CD, a download, a vinyl copy, and I'm going to, get a poster that you signed from the Amalgamut era, and they would put their money where their mouth is, and they understood that, like, this is kind of like, it's way more than just getting something on iTunes. It's involvement, and so I would react, and it's different when you're like, you're on Facebook and you're like, hey, yeah, there's a new record, yeah, we got a like,
Right.
This is like people are like completely investing, like ground level, like investing in the record based on, a clip they saw on Pledge. So it was so much more important to me to upload. It was so much more important for me I wanted them to see a different side of me. I'm actually like pretty funny. Like in real life, I make people laugh. Like you're sitting on a bus, you got to know how to like keep it light. You know what I mean? You're sitting on a bus for 6 weeks. And so I started being a little bit more fun with it and just having more fun. And the fans responded. They're like, this is a totally different side to Richard. It's pretty cool. So it was absolutely one of the best things that we've done since, like, the internet. Like, honestly, best thing to come out of the internet for music in a very long time.
Right. Kind of balancing out the whole other aspect.
In the internet, when it comes to the internet and the music industry, the only people making money on music are the websites. And no one is making money off of music. None of the musicians are making money off of their music. Everything goes to Steve Jobs and whoever else. Steve Jobs,
right.
Tim Cook. It doesn't go to us.
Right, well, this is maybe a little bit of a way to bring a little bit of the balance back and give the fans, an inside look to things during the creative process that they couldn't have otherwise done. So it's good for everybody involved with it.
Yeah, it's really amazing that Pledge Music happened, and I, as soon as I started realizing like the power of it, I was like, damn, this is cool.
Definitely.
Just the power of like showing like, here's me trying to play a guitar solo, and I'm avant-garde. I hope you understand that. And I'm sitting there banging on a guitar with a screwdriver and a.
So now you guys are obviously going to hit the road in support of the new album, and we've got to talk about the name of the tour because it's just awesome. So,
Make America hate again.
So now you've been vocal on social media about your political views. So a direct jab at Trump with the title, and where are you going with that name?
Well, you can see the division created by the Trump campaign. I'm a Democrat. I'm a true blue Democrat. They have caught up to my way of thinking. I believe in education. I believe that we should invest in our country. I think that things should be made easier for people. I think that there should be reformations, for people in the South that were enslaved. I think that there's like a lot of stuff we have to like make up to people, and invading other countries and saying you're going to nuke Europe, and I won't use tactical nukes. It's not like surgical nukes. There's no such thing as surgical nukes. It's contamination. Like every single thing he says.
Right.
We're going to build a wall along the Mexican border. That's going to cost so much more. It's going to cost $25 billion just to get the roads there. To go to the middle of the desert and put roads at the border. Like, you have to have roads, you have to have construction crews, you have to have cement, you have to have all this stuff. And it's just like, this guy's not making America great again. He's making America hate again. And so I think it's, there's always been that hate element in industrial music, and I just thought it was kind of funny to pick fun on, this is what's real. And I think we're even selling a shirt with like Donald Trump is like the devil. And he's got he's kind of like black eyes, and there's a filter sticker going over his mouth, and
So now you've got some dates coming up in the States and Canada, and I think you've also got some festivals, Welcome to Rockville, and my local festival, Carolina Rebellion, before you head off to Europe. What can fans expect from the band this time out?
Well, I hate playing in the day.
Okay.
I think we're always stuck in the at the hottest fucking point in the day.
Yeah.
But you can expect real. A real solid industrial performance. It's going to be heavy.
Okay.
We're going to play a lot of the new music, but we're also going to play a lot of the old music. And I think it's going to be cool. I'm the band is really tight. We have an amazing bunch of folks with us right now, and I'm looking forward to it.
As are we. I hope to be able to catch you at Carolina Rebellion next month and check it out for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. We do appreciate it. The album's it's Crazy Eyes, and that's exactly what it is. It's crazy. It's intense, and it's one heck of a ride to listen to it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Sure. Best of luck with the new record and with the tour coming up as well.
You got it. Thank you.